Hi, and welcome to episode 109 of the Heartland Knits podcast. My name is Vicki, but you can find me as Heartland Knits on Ravelry and Instagram. And today is Sunday, June 7th, 2015. My apologies for last week's show at the length of it. It got to be much longer. By the time I put all the video and everything in, it got to be longer than I usually like to have the podcasts. This one is going to be much shorter. I thought about kind of delaying the whole garden segment last week, and then I thought, oh, the same thing's going to happen again next week, and then it's going to have to be long one time because I did want to include all that. And then now this week I think is going to be really short. So let's find out. So what is on my needles? What have I been knitting? Really, I have kind of two things to show you. I'll show you this again. I'll start out with this again first. This is my Spellbound shawl by Boo Knits out of some alpaca silk hand spun. The fiber was from Lisa Sousa. And I showed you this last week that I had put some beads in and then I took them away. And it kind of just laid there until yesterday. And I thought I need to get going on this because see, like, wouldn't this shawl look really pretty with this dress? I had to wear this sweater. This is my featherweight cardigan out of Madeline Tosh Merino Light in the Posy color. I had to wear the sweater because the shawl wasn't finished. So anyway, it kind of laid there till yesterday, and then I took kind of my whole bead stash, which isn't really big, but I took it out on the porch in daylight and kind of tried out like all the different ones that I had because I just didn't want to have to run and find a bead store and stuff. So I ended up, I think these are the ones I'm going to do. I might pull out anyway. So anyway, it's these beads, which are this sort of kind of a medium, kind of a cornflower blue color. And I don't know if they're going to show up. There's one kind of right there. They're just like a little speck of blue that I didn't want I didn't like the sort of crystal kind of clear ones. And I thought this hand spun is greens. They go from a yellowy green to a blue green. And so I thought using the little blue beads would pick up the blue in it. So I did one whole row, and that's kind of where I ended it to evaluate it a little bit. I did have a small amount of another bead that was more of an aqua teal that leaned towards the green, which they were really pretty, and they were kind of a triangle shaped bead, but I just had a little package of them. I didn't have enough to do the whole beaded edging. So today I might take those out since I've only got 2 rows on here. I may take those out and just do a little sample and see if I like them. They're a little bit bigger beads. These are size 8 beads, just silver lined blue, and then those other ones are they seem a little bit bigger, but maybe that's just because they're the triangle shape. But I thought I'm gonna maybe even count them out and see if I could just do the final little edging and just use those for those. So that's where this project stands. Hopefully soon it will be done so I have it to wear. And then the other project that I worked on during the week was one that you've seen before, I have this in my mitten basket. And I am keeping this in this little bag. So this little bag fits perfectly in the basket. And this is my Girl Cave bag with the little birds on it. And if you remember, I was working with a project with that bag last winter, and I picked that up again. And that is my twined mittens. I finished one of them last winter, and so that is this one. You can't really see the design in it, but so I have one mitten done, and so I needed to finish the pair off. And you know, I remember I liked doing it. I loved the twine knitting. I love it so much. I worked on this just the last couple of days, and so I don't. Oh, you can see the kind of the brocade design on there, and I have just started increasing for the thumb gusset. It has that really like cool thumb gusset where you just increase on one side. You just increase on one side of it, and then so that when it lays flat, it does not lay like perfectly like flat into the mitten. It kind of goes off to the side like your actual thumb does. But I picked it back up and thought, this is so much fun. I really am enjoying working it. But anyway, so I'm working this out of Blackberry Ridge. They're merino and silk, which is, I think it's listed as a fingering weight, but it's really more like it's a light fingering or a heavy lace. I think it's 50-50 merino and silk. And I am using size 0 needles, 2 millimeter. The gauge on it is 10 stitches to the inch. I think the pattern calls for using size 1 needles, but for 10 stitches to the inch, I need zeros. So maybe I don't knit as tightly as like some people do. I don't know. But it is a really great technique, and this is sort of why I love to knit mittens, like more than anything, is because it's a small thing, so you can play around with kind of new techniques and things, and it's still like a small thing. Though this one, there's a lot of stitches on there. There's you know, so each round takes a while, and you have to it's called twine because all the stitches are twisted. So every stitch you twist, you work with 2 strands of yarn at the same time. I know I explained all this last winter, but in case there's somebody new out there, so you're working it with 2 strands at a time, and every stitch you take, you twist the yarn on itself. You just keep twisting, so it makes a double thickness fabric. These are going to be very warm mittens. So those were my 2 on the needles projects that as they stand right now. But I have something off the needles, and I have my first pair of mittens for the mitten along. Are you going to mitten along with the group? You know, just knit a pair of mittens like all summer long. You can do any kind you want. Stranded, plain ones, felted ones, whatever. But I finished my first pair. Well, they're almost finished. They're finished. The knitting part is finished, and that is these that I've been working on the last couple weeks. I have 2 of them. So this shows the inside kind of pattern and the outside. These are from Solveig Larsen's little book called Knitted Mittens, and this is the Rowan pattern. For these I used a handspun yarn. Both of them were handspun. They were spun a long time ago. They're from bats from Whitefish Bay Farm, and they're Corriedale and Angora. they're super, super soft. The white especially, it was supposed to say, you know, it had 10% Angora. I'm thinking it had more because it's really, really soft. So anyway, the knitting is all finished on these. And now I have to brave the sort of fulling process. These were done, the yarn was like a fingering weight, and I did these on a size 4 needle, which is 3.5 millimeters. And then you do, if you finish them like she does her mittens in the book, you alternate going between hot and cold water. Then you just lay them out to dry, and you leave them dry, you know, lay flat to dry, let them dry completely. And then when they're dry, you take a brush and brush them. These already have a lot of loft because of the Angora, but that's the way she finishes her mittens. So I want to do that for at least one pair. I know it's like braving to do that with these really pretty hand spun mittens. I don't know, but anyway, these are, I loved everything about the pattern. I did one little change. I think I made them a little pointier. Hers stopped at, I think, 8 stitches, and I went all the way up to like the very point. So I think I had 6 stitches on needles. But I just, you know, kind of did them according to plan. Or according to the pattern. You know, I did the thumb just like you put the thumb stitches on scrap yarn and then pick them up, and then, you know, work the thumb in the round, and the thumb is increased or decreased just like the top of the mitten. And yeah, I like the length that they turned out and the size that they turned out once I kind of got the right needles. And I ended up with this much yarn left. This is both skeins twisted together. So that I can sort of maybe estimate kind of yardage. So if I want to use like scraps that, you know, for the next set of mittens, I can kind of estimate what I will. I wish there was enough left to do a hat. I don't know that I would have enough. But I will certainly have enough of the green to kind of do, you know, use it for another color in another pair of mittens or something. But so I finished these like maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, and I kind of just laid them up here by the computer and thinking, well, I'll lay them there. I took a picture of them and put it on Instagram and thought, well, then I thought, oh, I have, you know, days to do the fulling thing. And then I didn't kind of remember about them laying here until yesterday. And then I knew that they would be wet. So I just waited. So I'll let you know how that goes next week. So that really is almost everything that I have for you. See, it's going to be really short. I have just kind of one show and tell thing, and it's not knitting related, but I bought this last night, and it is like the best nail polish color like ever. You need to go out and buy this color, and this is an Essie polish. It is called Blossom Dandy. Really, I don't know what color it's showing up for you, but it is Tiffany blue is the color that it is. I almost stopped and bought a second bottle this morning because I loved it that much. So this is going to be my sort of summer color, like nails, this year. Last year I bought an Essie color that was kind of like a periwinkle kind of bluish color, and I loved that. So, and that was my color. So this is going to be my color for this year. So you need some. So that's all I have. See, it is really short. You know, just kind of the garden is going along. We had a lot of rain, and so a bunch of things just really grew. Delphiniums have buds on them, and one of my new roses has a bud on it. I'm watching it carefully. It's the one, the forget-me-not rose that is supposed to be kind of a dark pink. The bud looks red. It looks dark red. And I like peeled kind of like one of the outer leaves off, and it looked like tomatoey red. So we will see. If it's not pink, I don't know. I might have to. I've learned this term, this that the rose people kind of throw around, and they call it shovel pruning. So you have a rose and you don't want it there, you just shovel prune it if it's like not good for whatever that you're looking for. So I'm going to wait for this bud to open until I know, but I'm a little nervous about it. We'll see. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. A nice quick little show. And let's see. What else do I always forget to say? Join us for the mitten along. If you want to talk about it, there's a thread in the Ravelry group, which is Friends of Heartland Knits. So come on over there and join there. And if you want to kind of make mittens and use a hashtag on Instagram, just do a hashtag mitten along. And yeah. Podcast is on iTunes and YouTube, and kind of join and subscribe if you like, and I will see you next week. It's finally starting to feel summery, like warm and summery, and it was nice to knit out on the porch a little bit this week. So I hope you all have a really great week, and until I see you again, from my heart to yours, happy knitting.